Hello, I'm Tamara Stafford, and this is a horse. His name is Ikon. He's by Ikon, and I'm just starting him here. He's a 3-year-old warmblood, and I've been playing with him for, I guess about, I would say 5 weeks at this point. To look up the date. Anyway, I start all my horses, race horses, warmbloods, whatever, on the long reins. And basically, I want to give them forward. I want to put a mouth on them, meaning they understand communication, and that doesn't mean right, left. Communication to me is they know how to bounce off the bit, they know how to take a hold of the bit on the bars of their mouth, and they can negotiate their haunches. The haunches, in my opinion, are the most important part of the horse. In other barns that I've seen, their opinion is where is the neck and head. But if you don't have the engine, which I don't care what school you went to or what country you live in, the engine is from behind on a horse. So long reining as opposed to lunging and all that stuff they put on their face to hold their head and neck. Long reining without anything tying them down via the surcingle means that you're getting the cooperation and study of the horse's physics. So I'm really interested in whatever direction I'm going in that outside hind leg. And you'll notice here I put it in a little bit of a slow-mo so you can capture it faster with your naked eye. That it doesn't matter how this horse responds. I'm not interested in his neck and head. I'm interested in engaging the hindquarters, the outside hind being the conductor of the locomotions, and his vertebrae, so they stay parallel to the ground, meaning his haunches are not dropping. So you'll see often that I have the haunches respectively inside this circle and the forehand is outside. Basically, because he's a baby warmblood and he has a lot of pendulum action because he has great physics over the ground. Ikon, his father, was a jumper, and he's not going to really basically grow into his own for another year. So I don't want to cripple his scope or movement. I want to educate it without crippling it. Side reins and running martingales and all that stuff, basically in my educated sense, and Major Rathi and Bukiai and a lot of other sensible trainers around the world would concur that when you paste the nose to the chest to have that pretty little curly cue, you are subsequently not using the back, and most importantly, not having the haunches come underneath the horse so they can use their front end to glorify whether it be dressage or a 6-foot jump someday. So my whole theory is keep the shoulder free, and the only way you can keep a shoulder free is basically using and coming from behind, not from side reins, and not inhibiting the horse's movement. Basically, on these long reins, this horse is learning the motion forward. So when I get on him and I ask him for something, It's not breaking like a cowboy or submitting like a quote unquote warm blood. It's really cooperating with its physics. The physics over the ground, no matter racehorse, jumper, or dressage horse, is everything. And now that we have modern technology, and I hope to meet a computer geek to prove my thesis, it will show that we want to have each foot in equilibrium, meaning it's not more weight on the right front than the left, more weight on the right hind than the left, and giving the horse the perspective and freedom, like coming from behind, like you just saw. I'm asking him to drop his hindquarters and come from behind, but I'm not inhibiting him like you see the Germans and now the English. They back in the 70s wouldn't be caught dead with side reins. Now today they have side reins and German running martingales and all this other stuff. But in the old day, and I had a wonderful friend on Long Island that put a wonderful book together I hope to have for sale on my website, the nomenclatures of where a lot of our language today came from. And tacky, by the way, came from horse training. Tacky meant the more tack you had, the less of a horseman you are. Today, there are very few horsemen. If you realize I have a bit, little Snapple bit, nose band, but not harshly put across this colt's nose, because my barometer is his tail and his mouth. When he strengthens muscles or the lactic acid builds up, I can tell because I'm not clamping his mouth shut with a figure 8. I'm actually watching the horse. Hey, hello, people. The horse is trying to communicate that you might not think they're smart because they're not doing in your human language what you want. They're trying to talk to you and opening their mouth like, my muscles are getting overtaxed, or this is very strenuous for me. Well, when you clamp all that stuff out and clamp their mouth shut and put alcohol on their tail or in their tail like you bad boys do in dressage, you have no barometer. No barometer at all. I want to keep all my barometers open because I want to kick butt when I go to shows. And I do kick. I've won first time out the best driving competition, 125 years old. First time out horse, first time out whip, and first time out for me for combined training. That's what's really sad. We've all focused like doctors in medicine. Oh, I do the knees, I do the tail, I do the face. Well, I'm sorry. All horses, whatever breed, have 4 legs, a tail, neck, and a head. And if you're not a horseman that can psychologically get into their physics and mentality of what they were bred for, then you're not a horseman. This horse likes to please. He's young and he's a colt, and his demonstrativeness over the ground take a lot of matter out of his brain cells, but in a year you will not recognize him because he's honest. And the one of the reasons why he's honest is I haven't plugged him with all this stuff on his face, and I haven't cheated him by whipping and gagging him. All I've asked and all I'm asking is engaging the haunches to come off the hock, as we say in America, that he has to be honest and give and pop his back so his bascule contributes. You see that stance? That little halt to a canter? In 2 months you won't recognize this horse. Now, for all of you that think you need to get on their back and pound them there, well, good luck. I've watched you for 35 years. Most of you have never had a Grand Prix horse, and most of you never get above second level or past 3-6 hunters, and certainly not past preliminary jumpers. Why? Because the horse, after all your banging and booming with your bottoms and years of toxic control on their brains, the horse says, I give up. This horse won't give up. This horse has no give up because I give him a window. Every time he asks a question, I give him a window. Why? Because he doesn't have anything tying his face down. Hello, Dean. Hello, a lot of riders I've met. He has the freedom to think and move physically over the ground. A real trained horse, and I guess a lot of you equestrians haven't been able to be on an old Grand Prix push-button horse. You don't have to put them there. They put themselves there. It's called muscle memory. If you go into New York City and you go to a Juilliard hack and say, hey, play Do Re Mi, they don't have to think. They don't even have to look at their instrument. They can play Do Re Mi. That's how I train my horses. My horses want to be where they are because their physics and their muscle memory. As his first rein back, and as you know, I don't like to get on a horse that can't rein back and pop off a hawk forward. Then you don't make rears in there, and I don't cheat them. I don't bring something new to them every day so they become a schizophrenic. And see his eye? Look how calm. This is not a broke horse. He's a warmblood. He's 3+ years old. And you know what? He's gaining trust, and he's gaining muscle, and he's getting a top and a bottom line. See his bottom line? Look at his rump. It's filling in. And I haven't ridden him yet. Why? Because when I put my stupid body over the back, I want him to be confident. I want him to understand the aids through the mouth, come off the leg, do leg yields, have an understanding. So when he does question it, like babies do, I answer the questions, and he doesn't have a panic attack, and he will never, ever, ever relate a saddle and rider to fear or nervousness or second guessing what he's going to be expected to do, whether it be a transition, halt, departure, anything new. As we build our relationship, as we have laid the foundation now, he more and more trusts where you're going and new things. So if you lay this basement or infrastructure to a young horse, it really gives you a lot of ground coverage for the future. And then you have the whole horse, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Thank you very much. I hope you join us at globalhorseowner.com, where this horse will continue his training and be live streamed as we head to his first show this winter.